To walk us through the design plans, please welcome Bing Thom.
Today is about the new building. And in order to build a new building, first we have to kind of immerse ourselves into the community. Community meaning both the faculty and the students, but as well as the community at large. So in terms of looking at the site, you know, we know that this is on a very important, right now, kind of edge of an emerging downtown that's actually going to become increasingly more vibrant. And first thing we did was we started to look at the activity in the neighborhoods, and you can begin to see already there's a lot of retail that exists, and we said, okay, we know that the transit line is going to come down on 104th, and the major stop is going to be at 112th. So the corner of 112th to 104 becomes very important. So the first thing we did was say, well, okay, let's bring more retail. Let's integrate the university with the community even more, so that why not welcome people to this institution, not just for education purpose, for many casual visits. And the idea of kind of integrating that commercial activity now into the interior space of the university. So for example, if you were looking to rent some equipment that's related to the arts, or if you were purchasing, why not? It's a great opportunity. You have maybe the best art supply stores in the city, right here in the building, right off the sidewalk. Or if you want to rent some special video equipment, maybe this is where you come for your rental, because this building is going to be full of all this type of musical equipment and recording equipment, and of course cafes and restaurants, the opportunity to spill out to the surrounding streets, but also take that retail activity and spill it out inside the building, so that the interior space of the building, very much like this space here, become multifunctional, can be used for many purposes, both for education and also in evenings and on weekends. But then in the center of the space, we wanted to connect right through the center and create an atrium space where all the students can gather and the public can gather. And adjoining this would be theater spaces, both a lyric theater as well as a studio theater, and then a recital hall. And so that there are always activities here, even in the evening, adjoining these public spaces. And then, of course, we have an exterior outside space that we can utilize in times when the weather is good, and so that we can have outdoor performances, and so that the building actually spreads itself on all the edges. And so this is a photograph of what it would be like in this exterior space that's adjoining the health sciences building. The pedway that connects across, which is so unique to this university. And then the pedway itself actually addresses both the quiet side to the university, to the residential side, and of course addresses outside to the 104 side. And of course the kind of nighttime activities that can spread out with coffee shops and restaurants and retail uses. And of course the screen itself facing the resident side could have projection opportunities, so that the students can show the various projects that they're working on the pedway itself. And then the exterior skin of the building, we wanted to have a building that actually speaks to the spirit of what this building is about. So we started to kind of think of it a little bit lyrically in terms of the music and the cultural activities that can happen in this building. And then adjoining with that, of course, is the regular grids of the facade. But we wanted to make a facade that was more interesting, that expresses the spirit of the building. So it's a facade that has different kinds of glass. Sometimes it's what we call vision glass that you see through, and then we have glass that you a little bit fogged out, which we call, you know, it's a kind of a fritting of the glass, which gives you a translucent layer. And then there are more solid pieces that would require more insulation to give the building a more environmentally friendly approach, so that in some way it's like a piano key or musical notes that kind of goes up and down, and that has a lyricism to it that when the rooms light up, there's a daytime look and there's an evening look to the building. And then, of course, on the corner of 104 and 112, where the transit station would be the important corner to welcome people to the building. And once again, it has a daytime and a nighttime look. So basically, the architecture is a backdrop for performances to occur, whether or not it's going to be through sound, or whether or not it's going to be through visual means, or even tactile means, so that we fully try to design a building that's relatively tough, so that students can mess it up, and messing it up is part of the architecture. I believe that it's the students who are going to bring this building to life, and the architect should be kind of restrained in that, to allow the opportunity and not overpower the creativity of the young students. And of course, on the street edge itself, visibility and signage would be important. Retail shops along the way on the sidewalk. You can see very wide sidewalks so the student activities can spill out onto the streets in good weather, like we're starting to have now. And so the circulation, both for the cyclists and for the pedestrian, and the connection through the buildings are all connected with the neighborhood. And then in the center itself, where I mentioned this center space that cuts through the building, we took our inspiration from this picture of the bird's nest in the tree, that we wanted to have a series of hangout places for the students to get together, to have their, you may have a group of musicians up on one side playing drums, and you may have another group of musicians on the other side playing with string instruments. So the idea that they would gather in between classes in the off class time to have their conversation and to interact dynamically. And so the idea that we really think this building, the students, if it's successful because of the pedway, they will actually spread right through the pedway to other parts of the university. In their graduation time, they show off with their work. So right through these public spaces, I think right through the pedway, you will find at graduation time installation of art and gathering of students, sometimes even in stairwells and bathrooms, because they love the resonance of these kind of spaces. And they will really bring, I think, a lot of life to the university and to the rest of the city, because they will spill out into the streets, because these type of students, they like to show off. They're very gregarious, and they like to make a lot of noise, and I think it will really transform the downtown of Edmonton. And of course, there'll be pianos all over through the corridors, there'll be drums, there'll be, it's all part of the liveliness, because we know with the new economy now, there is a merging of arts and business and commerce and community, right? The division that we normally have, all you have to do is look at your cell phone now. Whoever dreamt like 15, 20 years ago, a utilitarian object can be an object of desire, right? and so that is the merging of art and technology now with our everyday life. And so this generation of students are actually going to now bring a new identity to Calgary and to Edmonton and to Canada. Sorry about that. I have the same problem with Fort Worth and Dallas. So anyway, we designed the skylight in such a way that daytime you would have one aspect of bringing light through the building, and nighttime the building will also light up internally a little differently. And then of course the small recital hall itself would become a place for jazz performances, and of course the Lyric Theater itself will have its own, this particular theater can also become a nightclub kind of setting where you bring in tables and chairs as the jazz performances occur. So now I'm going to show you through a quick little vignette through a video. So this is a little video that will show you kind of a fly-through of what this building would be like. Coming down 104. And the building will catch light. As the light comes through during the day, the shadows will change because of the curves that we've added to it. Sometimes the shadows will lengthen, sometimes it will shorten. And of course, this is the major corner. around, of course. Coming through the main entrance, the corner itself, cafes that were spread out. Going down the sidewalk to the main entrance. Beyond to other commercial activities that can occur on the sidewalk, restaurants that can spill out. And towards this public plaza that we mentioned, the headway that connects. Nighttime look. So this is an outdoor performance space that can use in the art gallery and the retail shops that you will see through the building. So that's once over likely what the building will look like. Thanks very much.